Hey there, everyone. How are we doing today? So, I had no intention of repeating yesterday's video talking about all the amazing things I heard in the last 48 hours. Well, it's been 24 hours, and I have a whole new list of just mind blowing things that I never thought were possible. So, I thought I'd share them here. I'd love to get interaction from you because I think there's so much going on that I frankly gonna miss some stuff. So do me a favor, leave some of the crazy, wild, unheard of things that you've heard before, and leave them in the comments. And you know, sometimes you just need to find a way to smile because it's getting pretty bad out there. As I've said before, this is going to get worse before it gets better. But yes, this will get better. We will get through this. So let's start off. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a Warriors logo. If you don't know who the Warriors are, they are a basketball team that plays NBA, National Basketball Association. Steph Curry, maybe you've heard of him. Well, anyways, they had a home game tomorrow, and it will be played with no spectators. The Chase Center is brand new, gorgeous building right downtown San Francisco. Season ticket holder, and there will be no fans to watch a basketball game. You know, there are some things that happen in life that you're just going to remember where you were when you heard them. I'm guessing that's going to be one I heard. So, no fans for the next two home games. I think it's the New Jersey Nets and the Atlanta Hawks. I have a sneaky suspicion it might go longer than that, but they're doing it 2 weeks at a time now. So I think the Warriors are the first NBA team to do this. It wouldn't shock me if the New York Nets and maybe the Portland Trailblazers, maybe the LA teams are next, kind of where there's hot spots. That is going to be interesting. You want to go another step further? One of, if you're a sports fan, I realize that I guess most folks aren't sports fans, but I happen to be one. One of the best times of year from a just sheer joy and excitement is something they refer to as March Madness. March Madness is the end of the NCAA college basketball season. It's where the best 66 teams now, it used to be 64, then there's two play-ins and whatever, 64, 68, whatever it is, teams play, and it's a single elimination format. So you can get some spectacular upsets. I don't have a team in the game. I went to Santa Clara. Santa Clara University hasn't had a team since Steve Nash make the Sweet 16 or make the tournament, I don't believe. I remember we beat Arizona that year. That was fun. Yeah, I think that was like 92, maybe 93. Anyways, no fans for any of the NCAA games. March Madness with no fans. I just don't know how that's going to play on TV, right? Part of the energy is you get a pulse from the crowd, so I don't know. Then you have Harvard University kicking students out of dorms, saying, "Hey, tough luck, school's closed, get out, find your own homes." Wow, where did that come from? Didn't see that coming. That was crazy. On a positive side, it looks like Amazon and the Gates Foundation are taking it upon themselves to deliver test kits to Seattle residents. We have talked about it. There has been a woeful lack of test kits available. It looks like at least Amazon and Gates are talking about stepping up and trying to get ahead of it in their neck of the woods. It's really impacting Seattle. I've had a couple of subscribers or at least watchers of this channel send me messages that Seattle is near a ghost town. I actually got a picture today from a follower on San Francisco. There's nobody there. It was frightening, So Pretty crazy. The other one that's going on is this oil thing, and this has been bugging me. So I've shared a couple of times that I earned an MBA, and one of the classes I remember taking was game theory. And I remember one of the challenges in that game theory class went something like this. It's been 20 years, so I could be making this up. Who knows? But as I recall, you were in competition with somebody else, right? And what happened is it became about price. But see, both of you and your competitor had a break-even point where at some point you would lose money. And what we didn't know is we had the same break-even point, but we didn't know when the game had started. But what happened is everybody kept lowering their prices, ultimately breaking break even, so they were losing money. But because we had money in the bank or an impressive balance sheet, we could go negative for a little while, get market share, and you would be okay. After that was all done, because nobody did very well, the answer to the game was once your competitor busted below break even, call it $1, once they went to 99 or 98 cents, the best game theory move was to stop production on your side, buy all their stuff. They think they're getting market share, but you are putting them out of business. They're not making money. It's below. They think they're winning. They're selling at 98 cents. That costs $1. They're out of business, right? They burn through their cash. They're done. You have 100% share and you have inventory. Genius. So I've been thinking about this in this oil thing, right? So American companies, why don't you go buy a lot of Russian and Saudi Arabia oil instead of drilling in the ground and losing money? Just build some warehouses. Store that stuff. If they want to sell stuff for ridiculously low price, let them pump until they're dry. And then you got a whole bunch of inventory you can sell off and make a profit. Seems like game theory to me. I don't know. I'm sure it's harder than that. I'm sure there's lots of smart people out there thinking about it. But, if I was Exxon or someone else and you wanted to sell oil below what I could produce a barrel for, I'd go buy as much as I could. I would bury you in orders. Why don't we do that? I just don't get it. Wow. Boeing's next. Man, talk about Boeing not catching a break, right? They have this 737 MAX. Then they have these internal memos that just make fun of the FAA. Then they fire their CEO. Now they have all these orders being canceled because 70% of the airlines are flying ghost flights. So Boeing's drawing down a significant, equity line or credit line or something. Man. And then their culture, I hear their culture is just not good. It's kind of beaten. That's crazy. So for the first time today, I heard that I should have wrote it down. I didn't write it down, but I'm sure you'll find it. They are saying that upwards of 150 million Americans are likely to catch this thing. Most of them will be no big deal, blah, blah, blah. We all know the story. But still, 150 million Americans? That's nuts. It's officially a pandemic. I'm sure you heard that by now. World Health Organization officially declared it this morning. That's just, I guess that unlocks funds or something. I don't know what it does, but I don't remember a pandemic in my lifetime. I don't remember one. So this is uncharted territory. There you go. Look at that. We got a definition of a pandemic. Must be out for 12 weeks, have 250 deaths in multiple countries. I think I might have skipped the last line, but pretty crazy. This is one that bugs me a lot. I am not political, but I am seeing, I got to change my Facebook page or something or stop blocking people. People are visibly saying the left, whoever the left is clearly trying to destroy the economy to simply change who's ever in the White House. Are you freaking kidding me? You think somebody in China had this thing jump from bats to something, and then Italy, and then South Korea are you stupid? I mean, that just hurts my head. Oh, that just hurts my head. On that front, the greatest disappointment I have today is the president, obviously, is trying to do something big economic shock, goose the economy. He should, right? That's at least part of his job. And then you have Congress over here, Pelosi, trying to do their own thing, and they're not talking to each other. Shame on them. At some point, put your damn political bias aside and take care of the American people that elected you. I mean, Jesus. Come on. That's very disappointing. Oh, banks. I've got more subscribers telling me banks are raising interest rates. Yeah, I don't know what this conspiracy theory is. It's just nutty. I got to start blocking people on social media. It starts out comical and then it gets sad. It's just terrible. But banks are raising interest rates. Remember the Fed cut rates half a basis point, and now they're raising. That's crazy. And the reason is they have too much demand. Too much demand. Then there's the biggest doozy of the day. I read this one about an hour ago, and it took me 10 minutes to get out of my chair. People are betting that the Fed lowers rates by a full 1 point whenever they meet next Wednesday. I think it's next Wednesday. A week from today. The Fed whacked a half a point. People are saying they're going to whack a full point. I don't think that's ever happened. I'd have to go back and look. It certainly hasn't happened as I've been watching the markets for a couple of decades. They've whacked a half a point a couple of times close together. They've done that twice that I can recall, but I never remember a full percentage point at one time. Awesome. Let me know what you think of the book, Eric. I don't remember a full percentage point before. That's the Fed at least stepping up. The Fed's doing everything they can. Got to give them that. And then the last one, again, I agree with this. Apparently somebody in when the White House called all the big bankers together, they had the balls to say this is not a financial crisis. And I agree with you. If you've been following this channel for any length of time, this is a Main Street problem. So what worked to fix Wall Street, which is something you can get your hands on, right? You know who they are. And it's, I don't know, the biggest 10, 15, 20, 50 institutions. It's manageable. This is a Main Street problem. There are manufacturing companies laying people off because they can't get supplies. There are airlines that are furloughing employees. Can you imagine the hotel industry with NCAA games having no fans? My gosh. This is uncharted territory. So in the end, again, this gets worse before it gets better. But I want you to know this will get better. In a decade, this will come by as a blip. It is crazy. It's going to be one of those things that you and I remember. I suspect if you're old enough to remember 9/11, I'm going to remember this as I remember 9/11 because it was so out of left field. It's a pandemic now. Talking about, millions of Americans catching this. So it's an interesting day. So in the end, I just wanted to share this. Again, lots of things. Let me know what you're hearing. Leave comments below because I'm sure I'm missing stuff. I also have a list of subscriber questions I am going to do. And yeah, very, very, banks could limit withdrawals of cash. They certainly could. Although I think the Fed would blow them up with cash or make sure they have excess cash. But maybe, absolutely. So I'm going to do subscriber questions next video. I'm going to shut this down, close it, and then do some subscriber questions. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Man, it's going to be weird watching basketball with no fans. Take care. Thanks.